Standard 10 Chemistry Unit 6 Nomenclature of Organic Compounds and Isomerism. The structure and general formula of alkanes. What is the valency of carbon? Look at the structure. The valency of carbon is 4. Here, all the valencies of carbon are saturated by hydrogen. Now examine the structure of the compound. The number of carbon atoms in this compound is 1 and total number of hydrogen atoms is 4. So, the molecular formula of this compound can be represented as CH4. Observe closely how carbon atoms are united by a single bond. The other 3 valencies of carbon are saturated by hydrogen. Now, look at the structure of the compound we get. The number of carbon atoms in this compound is 2 and that of hydrogen atoms is 6. So, the molecular formula of this compound can be represented as C2H6. Now, let's watch the structure of a compound having 3 carbon atoms. What would be the structure and molecular formula of this compound? It is C3H8. Compare the structure of the 3 compounds we discussed. In all these compounds, single bond exists between carbon atoms. The open chain hydrocarbons having only single bond between the carbon atoms are called alkanes. Have you noticed that in all these compounds, there is single bond only between carbon atoms? Now what's the molecular formula of these compounds? CH4, C2H6, C3H8. What is the difference in the number of carbon and hydrogen atoms in 2 adjacent molecular formulae? The difference between these is CH2. The molecular formula of a hydrocarbon having 4 carbon atoms is C4H10. The molecular formula of a hydrocarbon having 5 carbon atoms is C5H12. Shall we write down a general formula to represent alkanes? What is the number of hydrogen atoms in the hydrocarbon having 1 carbon atom? What is the number of hydrogen atoms in a hydrocarbon having 2 carbon atoms? The number of hydrogen atoms in a hydrocarbon having 1 carbon atom is 4. The number of hydrogen atoms in a hydrocarbon having 2 carbon atoms is 6. What is the relation between number of carbon and hydrogen here? We get the number of hydrogen by adding 2 to the double of the number of carbon atoms. How many hydrogen will be there in a hydrocarbon having 3 carbon atoms? Is it 8? Here also, by adding 2 to the double of carbon, we get the number of hydrogen atoms. Thus, in an alkane having n carbon atoms, the number of hydrogen atoms will be 2n plus 2. Thus, the general formula of alkanes is CnH2n plus 2. Watch the table related to these compounds: structure, number of carbon atoms, number of hydrogen atoms, condensed formula, molecular formula, IUPAC name.